Good evening, everybody. It's 6 p.m. I'd like to call our August 5th council meeting to order and ask that we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Klein.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if you could all please remain standing. We have Pastor Quirk, who's going to give us an invocation.
All right, thank you. Mayor?
That's fine.
Well, let's pray together. Well, Father, we are grateful tonight for your guidance and your wisdom when we ask for it. It is something that even our founders of our great nation sought after on a daily basis when they made tough decisions that had such a great impact on us. It reminds us that we're limited and you are limitless. And so I pray this for our council tonight, that you would grant this to them as they adjudicate difficult topics that impact our community. Bless their families, their children, their marriages, and bless our time together this evening. We pray in your name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone can be seated. Item 1.4 is the City Clerk's report on posting the agenda, followed by roll call.
Thank you. The agenda was posted on Thursday, August 1st at 4:15 in the afternoon. Councilmember Bracco?
Here.
Councilmember Armendariz?
Here.
Councilmember Marks?
Here.
Councilmember Hilton?
Here.
Councilmember Klein?
Here.
Councilmember Tovar?
Here.
Mayor Blankley?
Here. Okay, under orders of the day, we have none. Under employee introductions, we also have none. Under ceremonial items, we have none. And under council correspondence, we have none. Presentations to the council. 4.1 is a presentation by Caltrain. Sam, you want to take the mic and, yeah, we'll get going. This is Sam Sargent of Caltrain.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, members of Council, City Manager. My name is Sam Sargent, and I serve as the Director of Strategy and Policy for Caltrain. And it's a pleasure to be with you this evening. Thank you for having me. I wanted to provide an update on a mix of things from Caltrain, and frankly, I hope going forward we can do this with some more regularity, just so that you've got an in-person check-in with the city's railroad. As you know, north of Tamian Station, which is in the southern part of San Jose, we've been completing our electrification program, which is about a decade in the making, and will be up in revenue service, so customers will be on board riding this new schedule and these zero-emission trains on September 22nd. And it's been a lot of work, 3,000 foundations, 2,500 poles, a whole lot of wire, 2.5 million feet of this stuff, and just a brand new future for a 106-year-old railroad. And the reason why I think it matters to the citizens of Gilroy and our customers in South County is that we're going to see significant improvements in terms of travel time between Tamian Station and San Jose Diridon to the north, a lot more frequency out of those stations, and far better connectivity for the customers who are taking the train from Gilroy up to San Jose going forward. So 23rd is the Monday of the schedule change, so that's when customers who are riding from Gilroy on the 4 a.m. morning trains will be able to make this new connection. You can see the trains here at Diridon in the upper photo. And we'll continue running our newer diesel equipment, which you can see down here in the bottom, between Gilroy and San Jose Diridon. So continuing on with the 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. weekday trains, and the reason for this, as many of you may know, but in case members of the public don't know, is that south of the San Jose city limits, Caltrain operates on Union Pacific territory. So we've been operating under a trackage rights agreement since 1991 that limits us to no more than 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. trains. Right now we're at 4, so we still have some room for improvement. But that's the reason for that. We'll have a 10-minute cross-platform transfer at San Jose, and this is something that as we work to educate folks, customers on the main line and certainly in South County, we wanted to make sure they understood what that meant. So what it means is that once you get off the train in Diridon, you would literally cross over to the platform where one of our new electric trains would be waiting, and with a far faster schedule would be heading north, either on a limited service, a local, or our bullet service up to San Francisco, which will now be less than 58 minutes, which is a major improvement. But no different, too, if you were heading to Bellarmine or anywhere in between. Also, I'll note, and unfortunately I did not have the renderings yet, but I will make sure that these are sent to the mayor and city manager and the council. We're working on some new artwork for the outside of our trains that will just be serving in South County so that they're reflective of the communities that they serve. So stay tuned. We'll get one final round of input from you before they go to the printers. They're basically large stickers, so once they're stuck, hopefully people enjoy them and they stay there. So I apologize for not having that this evening. If folks would like to visit our website, www.caltrain.com/service benefits, you'll be able to see city-specific benefits pages. Here you can see a screenshot from Gilroy, a couple of changes to the Gilroy service, one of them being that the final train in the evening will move up, and I apologize, let me check my note real quick just so that I don't misspeak. This is going to be posted to the Caltrain website shortly, but the largest change that customers in Gilroy, citizens in Gilroy will see is that the last train back from San Jose Diridon, instead of leaving at 7 p.m., will leave at 6:21 p.m. So that means that out of Diridon you would have 4:21, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 6:21 p.m. so that folks could get back to Gilroy around 7:09 p.m. on the last train. When we added the fourth train last year, we continued to see smaller ridership on that final train, and we think based on the survey that we did in South County that this is going to pick up ridership for that last train, hopefully pick up ridership overall. But we make service changes twice a year, so we can look at the data, we can listen to customers, we can listen to community feedback, and adjust accordingly. So I encourage you to look at the caltrain.com/service benefits page. Also very exciting in the future, the not too distant future, in fact, the state is putting money into a battery electric version of the trains that will be running north of Tamian Station so that we can not only have zero emissions operations on our what we term the main line, just because that's what Caltrain owns, but we can have it in South County as well. And so this would be a first of its kind, first in the United States type of technology that would be built by Stadler in Salt Lake City. They're the manufacturers of these trains. And we'll be working with the community here, as well as with the state, with our manufacturer, and a lot of other people to get this up and running by 2028. We continue to do public safety campaigns. We work closely with Operation Lifesaver. If you or any community group that you work with or school are interested in an Operation Lifesaver presentation from Caltrain, please do not hesitate to reach out. A number of you have my contact information already, but we are always happy to come down here and do that because it's really, really important. And then lastly, I just wanted to touch on something that Caltrain's been thinking about quite a bit, because as we were going through the trauma, the collective trauma of the pandemic, we're a commuter railroad, and that means that traditionally we move people from the commute peaks, morning, afternoon, and we take them to work and we bring them back home. And that market has changed greatly as a result of changing work patterns. We're at about 45% of pre-pandemic ridership, but we want to find ways to grow that more. And I know that here in Gilroy it's a little bit different, because the thing that's going to grow ridership here the most is having more service. And that starts with a fifth train and possibly a future renegotiation with Union Pacific or whatever that might look like. But still, I think it's important for us to work with our cities to find ways to improve the service, improve the customer experience, improve schedules, and just find more ways to get the word out about Caltrain and what it can mean for this community. We're trying to work closely with cities, knowing that this can be sensitive and that these are some powerful tools that only cities hold, but how can we work together to reduce parking demand where it makes sense, support downtown growth, try to improve employee retention and recruitment, or improve the draw to living in Gilroy and working in Points North. So this is something that we're building up what we call a toolkit for. I'm managing this effort. I plan on coming back and engaging city leadership on this probably later in the fall, but just a little bit of a preview as we work to regrow our ridership, revenue, and our reputation. With that, I won't take up too much more of your time, but if there are any questions or comments, I'm happy to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I do have some questions. Does anyone else want to go first? Okay, then my two things. One, everybody, I saw some of this artwork at our South County meeting last week, and it's loud. It's big garlic bulbs. Some are grapevines. I mean, we'll see what it ends up being, but it's going to be reflective, or it's meant to be reflective of South County. So I can't wait to see where that lands. The last train is even earlier than the current last train. Is that what you said?
The last train currently is, and that was a result of conversations with Union Pacific.
So Union Pacific is why we're moving the last time up?
That was the request from them, yes.
So it has nothing to do with our ridership numbers and what the people's responses to surveys or things like that?
It was my understanding that there was some desire to have earlier, but I can go back and look at the survey data again because I don't want to have gotten this wrong.
No, I understand, and you can get the facts when
Sure.
you are able to get the facts. But I just know that yay for the 30% increase in ridership that we have had, that we've
Yes.
seen since the addition of the fourth train, but those numbers are not reflective of the PM ridership. It's just the AM ridership,
Right.
and I'm afraid that I know I've heard some people, a handful of people, or even a dozen people, doesn't mean that's enough to dictate when a train should be going, but it sure does seem to me that people aren't able to, people who can't leave their jobs that early are then having to find alternate ways home. So
Understood.
I just, want to make sure that is understood. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Tovar?
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for asking that question. I'm one of those individuals that tries to take the train.
Yes.
Obviously, the change in that schedule is going to make it difficult to get off in time. But with the changes happening, obviously, do you see an increase in not ridership, but price per ticket? Because, again, I know it changes, it varies.
Sure.
But do you see an increase in fares?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, we are not. We had a planned fare increase pre-pandemic. That was put on hold, and it remains on hold.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming down and giving us this presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you,
right.
members of council.
Okay, that brings us to item 4.2. This is the point on the agenda where public comment for items not on the agenda. I guess I should look and see how many those are. Beth, do you have speakers? I see two. Just two, right?
Actually, there's three.
Okay, three. Okay, so I see James Sooner, Jeannie Corbin, and you'll have to call the third.
Is the third.
Okay. So start with James, and then Jeannie, if you could be nearby, and then Robert. Yeah, very good. And
Good evening, Council. James Sooner. Is this on?
should be on, and clock should be running. Okay.
Okay. I rise tonight to speak to you about two of our projects. The first being, ironically, Hardest Park. We've got UPR on site. We've done a lot of the work. We were trying to coordinate with the team to close it down for 24 hours, flagging to get the work done. We've been communicating with staff since March regarding the cost overrun. This is the same thing that happened on the bridge. It's been 7 years now on that intersection. As Jimmy pointed out the last time I was on your agenda, we read a book about the mistakes made out there. But right now, we're about to exceed UPR's window to do this work. And so I would highly encourage our city administrator to respond to your thoughts tonight about this overrun. All we really need is the acknowledgement that they're going to negotiate the PIA in good faith. We can move forward on it. If we don't, UPR's schedule is tied up 2 years out. If they're not happy about it, CPC is not happy about it, everyone involved is a little frustrated with the timing because there's a lot of coordination that goes on. So please, Jimmy, if you could help us resolve this quickly, I'd appreciate that. Secondarily, I wrote last week about our Greenfield. Our final map's ready to submit for recordation. I need answers on some of these issues. It's pretty simple. I don't see it taking more than 20 minutes of the council's time. But I need to be able to get on the agenda so I can get an interaction going. This is why we have unagendized items. This is why we have an open government ordinance. And it's why we have council-initiated agenda items. So I'm not sure what the problem is on getting an agenda from last week, but if you could please, under council-initiated items, place me on the next agenda, I need to get this resolved. Thank you.
Okay. Jeannie Corbin.
Okay, here I am again talking about bus stops and crosswalks. As happened observed recently, the seniors at our center and other people that live across the street in the housing and trying to get down to a bus stop or getting across the road. It's not just our building. It's the whole community in that area. People don't slow down. They don't care, unfortunately. But the thing is I just feel like it's been asked for over close to 4 years now. It's been brought up. It's been approved from everything that I've been told. I've been trying to find the thing for it. I'm not sure what I'm looking at in your paperwork and stuff because I'm totally new to all of this. But I've been told it has been approved. But now let's observe and see. Let's calculate. What is there to calculate? What is there to, these are lives at stake. There are no sidewalks going down the closest bus stop if you travel in Monterey from our apartment building. The closest bus stop is down at the Chevron station. There are absolutely no sidewalks going down that way. However, there's a big, beautiful, huge sidewalk sitting out in front of our apartment building, which has a really nice pole on it that you can put a sign that says bus stop. Right now, I have a car. I drive. A lot of people there don't. Winter's coming. They need to be able to get down to town or down to the whatever their connection might be.
I'm sorry. The clock is out of time? I know. It was running, yes? I wasn't looking. Was the clock running?
No.
It wasn't running.
Oh, good. So
Can you give it one more minute then? Just give it a minute because I don't know where.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
For the point being that I understand that all these things take time to do, but I don't want to see it be put past when we hit winter time. People need to be able to get a bus to go down to town, to go to another bus, to get to the transit center, to get wherever they need to go. And there's nothing there. And it's all no sidewalks. So now we're talking about people in wheelchairs, walkers, etc., that have to run through the mud and dirt and traffic. So I would really, really appreciate the fact that somebody, whoever, I mean, I'm happy to have somebody call me. I'm happy to have somebody come down and take a look and let me show them what I'm talking about. But if you drive over there, you can see what I'm talking about. So I appreciate your help. I know that's what the council's for. So thank you.
Thank you. Robert Cepeda? Okay. I'm sorry. We need to let Beth set the clock. Everybody has to have the same amount of time or it's not fair. Okay. Oh. Well, I can do it here, but then he won't see it. Okay, go ahead. Do you have a way to time yourself? No, I can time you here. Oh,
Need the mic.
Go ahead and come over here. That way we'll just, yeah. And I'll track the time if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, City Council. Good afternoon, City of Gilroy. I just wanted to comment on, I know there's elections going on, specifically here in Gilroy. I see your signs everywhere, and I see Councilmember Zach Hilton's. I forget who else is running, but I know there's two others. I would appreciate the city to have like a, more of a directive on their website, who's running, I suppose their policies. As someone who's lived here for all my life, it's good to know. And matter of fact, I would encourage people to focus more on the local rather than the state or federal, because that's where it affects you most. Where you take your children to school, where you go to work. I know most people probably work in San Jose. I don't. Luckily, I don't have to commute for an hour and stuck in traffic half the time. But it is important that we are informed about, what's going on close by. As this woman just mentioned, the sidewalks. I remember being a kid and used to walk all the time. and it was, you know, you always have your speedy drivers, and you always have your drivers that drive slower. But regardless of that, that's something that I would appreciate. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, and the last speaker is it Zechariah? Still on this side? Let's just do it. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Okay, firstly, I want to thank God for waking us all up today to another beautiful day of life that was not promised. I want to thank you for allowing me this chance to speak. Madam Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zachariah Aaron De La Rosa, and I'm here today to speak on behalf of the homeless community, that their voices not be silenced. We're facing an extremely urgent crisis that without hesitation should be at the top of the agenda at every city council meeting until this crisis is resolved. According to the most recent point-in-time count, it's been discovered that there are 704 homeless in the city of Gilroy, the second highest homeless population per capita in Santa Clara, aside from San Jose. We need to understand the magnitude of the urgency that we are facing. The first memorial held for the homeless in Gilroy, California, took place on December 21st, 2023. We thank those who participated. The number one cause of death was not alcohol or substance related. It was contributed from untreated illnesses of various origins, and which were not deemed as urgent enough for life-sustaining care. 3 of these were self-inflicted suicides. Who were not able to face the realities of being homeless, the City Council approved an ordinance to ban encampments located near or on school parks, creeks, sidewalks, or city property. This ordinance went into effect on July 19, 2024, and has been enforced to only worsen the suffering and despair of human life, with no implementation of a plan from the City Council as to where they would be relocated. As of today, not only are they homeless, they're hopeless, with no place to go. Is this the action plan we want the county to see, our community to see, and the next generation? People of Gilroy, I urge you to search your hearts. Please make it a priority to hear these cries in the night and ask yourself, what can I do? Because God said in his holy word, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And I believe, not in the life to come, but in this life, we should have everlasting life. So please, just seriously think about it, and let's all do what we can.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public comment for 4.2. That brings us to reports by council members. Councilmember Bracco.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Armendariz.
No report.
Councilmember Marks.
No report.
Councilmember Hilton.
From the Valley Transportation Authority Policy Advisory Committee, California shifted from focusing on vehicle congestion level of service, or LOS, to a total amount of driving called vehicle miles traveled for transportation analysis under CEQA. The use of VMT for CEQA analysis on land use projects has been used since July 2020. The goal of the Equitable Vehicle Miles Traveled Mitigation Program grant project is to develop the framework for an equitable program to reduce the amount of driving from land use developments in Santa Clara County that works across jurisdictional lines and improves travel options. The project is focusing on equity in both the process, study and engagement events, and the outcome, a program framework that supports VMT reduction investments that equity priority communities identified as most beneficial. Since the project commenced in May of 2023, VTA has been working closely with its consultant team and project partners to document existing needs, VMT mitigation practices, coordinate with local jurisdictional staff, and recently hosted a Spanish-speaking community meeting with Nueva Vida community where they had over 80 attendees. The program grant project aligns with VTA's business line of delivering projects and programs by developing the framework for a program that facilitates the funding and implementation of VMT reducing strategies such as active transportation improvements, transit signal priority efforts, or transportation demand management measures. Over the past several years, VTA staff has been taking a leadership role in helping provide resources and technical assistance to its member agencies on the implementation of VMT, and member agencies have been coordinating with VTA and work on their own implementation of a VMT plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Klein.
No report.
Councilmember Tovar. Okay, mine's pretty short. I just want to announce that the VTA board received, VTA, Santa Clara County Valley Transportation Authority, received a commitment for $5 billion for BART Phase 2. It's only a fraction of the $12.7 billion needed to build it, but at least it gives VTA some knowledge on what the gap is. So that's the big news. That came out August 2nd. So that's for BART Phase 2. Okay, we move on to 6.1, which is boards and commission interviews. So we had like 25 applicants, but I don't think we have that many here today. So can we do this maybe 5 at a time? Do we have a place?
The list of the names are in the list of speakers.
In the list of speakers, okay.
For that item.
Okay, I see that. So do we have a place for them to come up and do the 5 at a time, or are they going to talk from their seats?
Yes, Mayor, Council. So the plan was for the speakers, when they called up, to approach the podium and answer the questions.
Okay, one at a time. Very good. Okay, so then welcome and thank you for applying. I'll start with that. It's really great to have this much interest in the seats that are available. I'll call you up then one at a time. You'll take the microphone here, and just in a minute or two, if you could just tell us like your name and what's your biggest reason for wanting to apply for this. And then maybe we'll have a single question that we'll ask everybody. I'll see if council's agreeable to something like, what do you hope to have accomplished? What is the biggest thing you hope to have accomplished at the end of your term? That way everybody can answer the same question. Okay? So let's start with Anna Nguyen.
Mayor, can we make sure that they clarify what their school and grade? Because sometimes
are we allowed to? That's fine. Are we allowed to do that?
If everybody says,
because that gets redacted for some reason on our stuff. So are we allowed to ask that? School and grade?
I know it's on the application at the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so is Anna here? Okay, do you want to come and so introduce yourself, if you don't mind, saying what school you go to and what grade you're about to start, and then why you're applying and what you hope to have accomplished when you're done. Okay. And you can move the mic. Yeah, there you go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. I go to Gilroy High School, and I'll be an upcoming junior this year. And I applied because I think that the Gilroy Youth Commission is a great opportunity for students like myself to have a community where you can impact the other youth in Gilroy. And I think that it's a great place for us to combine our ideas, dealing with career opportunities, dealing with community service, and just overall impact on this community and how can we better improve it as well. And for what was your other question?
What do you hope to have accomplished by what's the biggest thing you would like to have accomplished by the end of your term? In other words, what's your most important thing to do, or to challenge, to champion as a youth commissioner?
I think for me, in multiple communities, not only Gilroy, I find a lot of homeless around the community, and I think that it would do a lot and help this community and help especially those who are in need and especially the homeless around on the streets. I think just targeting them and providing opportunities where they're able to help themselves and are able to get help, especially even if they don't want that help, or especially if they're lost and they're not informed about these opportunities. I think that it would be great to just allow them an opportunity, invite them in, and kind of show them what our community has to offer, how we can help them, and get them to a better place.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And again, thanks for applying. Okay, Ava Santos. Hi.
Hello, my name is Ava Marie Santos. I am a 10th grader at GECA. So what I would like to accomplish in Gilroy Youth Board is lowering school violence, because it is a serious issue in our communities. Recently, there was a stabbing in Christopher High School in May, and that is a serious issue that harmed students. I believe it is so valuable to address this issue and make a change on it. I'm sorry, what was your other question?
That's okay. No, that's what you hope to have accomplished, right, on the commission. Why are you applying for the same reason, or do you have anything else you want to add as to why you're applying to be on the commission?
I would like to be a part of Gilroy Youth Board because of what I could learn from others in the committee. I think it is so valuable to listen from other peers and learn what they have learned from their own experiences. And with that information, I would love to reflect it onto my own community and inspire others too to join Gilroy Youth Board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, Charlotte Lee. Hi.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Lee, and I'm going to be an 11th grader at Gilroy High School. I hope to accomplish many things on this committee. I really hope that I can learn from others and hear different perspectives and different experiences from different schools. And I really hope to build upon my communication skills and gather more experience so I can be well equipped for the workforce.
Nice. What do you hope to have accomplished at the end of your term? Is there a particular thing that you hope to put your name on, so to speak?
I really want to be a voice for our youth and not just hear about issues in our community, but also be the one who can act upon it and hear from residents and also my peers so I can help address this issue to the board and also so we can do something about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Crystal Misha? Is there anyone here named Crystal? With the last name Aberquez? No. Okay. Then Daniel Diaz?
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a rising senior at Gilroy High. Personally, I would like to be into the Youth Commission because living in Gilroy, I used to live in Morgan Hill, but I got mainly involved in Morgan Hill, and then through that I'm currently the co-vice president of the Youth Action Council there, and because of that, I've seen firsthand the impact that being in something like this can create. I also work with Chef Carlos at Needed Bakery and Catering, and through that, I'm also able to see the impact. But I feel like firsthand, I don't have a great, I can't tackle issues that well while only being based in Morgan Hill and only working at Needed Bakery and Catering. And because of that, I would like to be into the Youth Commission.
So are you saying that what you hope to accomplish is to get more a Youth Action Council more active in Gilroy through the Youth Commission?
What I would like to accomplish is mostly to ensure the safety and enrichment of children in our community. Working with Chef Carlos and being in the Youth Action Council, I'm able to see the children there, and also being from a household that was broken up, I can see the impact it has on children and everything like that. But I feel like I can't tackle that myself, being a single citizen in Gilroy, and I feel like it needs more people and then an actual action and commitment towards the problem.
Okay, thank you. That's awesome, wonderful. All right, Dominic Vu.
Good afternoon. My name is Dominic Vu, and I'm a current senior at GECA. And the main reason why I want to join the Gilroy Youth Commission is because I really want to show my appreciation for the city of Gilroy and my respect before I'm gone for college. I only have one more year here, and I'm a senior. And to be honest, I haven't really done much in my other years of high school. And so this year, I really want to make a difference, inspire the youth of Gilroy, and hopefully, just do something as a part of this group. And so the main thing that I want to accomplish by being part of the Gilroy Youth Commission is really make some sort of big event, similar to the great event that they had last year, the Opportunity event. Mm-hmm. That was just wonderful. The attendance was through the roof, and then the leaders of that event, they were just amazing. So I want to create something similar to inspire the youth and, this time hopefully be a leader in some big event like that and cause change in Gilroy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was a good event, by the way. Okay, Emiliano Vera. Is that Sometimes the name isn't entered correctly in here. So is there an Emiliano Vera here? No? Okay, Jacob Ortega.
Hi. My name is Jacob Ortega. I'm an upcoming junior at Dr. T.J. Owens Early College Academy. One of my main reasons for applying to join this council is because I want to make sure that all voices are heard, like the voices of my peers, but also I'm a huge animal rights advocate. I have over 90 hours in animal service, and I've started volunteering before I even had to get credits. So it really means a lot to me. And I would just like to make sure that my main goal is to make sure that resources, everything is allocated to make sure that people and animals are getting the treatment, respect, and their voices are being heard, even the ones that don't have voices.
Right. And what would be your main desire to accomplish in your term?
Finding ways to help reduce the feral animal population in ways that are both beneficial to the community as well as making it safer, because sometimes it's not always safe to have feral animals, especially around smaller children.
Understood. Well, thank you. Okay. Jeremy Vu?
Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Vu. I'm a current freshman at GECA. My desire to join this youth commission is mainly because I want to get a role in the government, and I want to have some experience in how the city of Gilroy operates and how they make their decisions. My main goal of accomplishment is to create more opportunities for children in the area, because I know that many of my peers, they may want to learn different skills, but they might not have the opportunity, or they might not know that there's an opportunity. So I'd like to try and spread awareness of any opportunities that they can have to learn new skills, or help themselves learn more and catch up if they're behind on curriculum. Thank you.
That's awesome. All right. Do you want to answer? Is there something you would like to have accomplished by the end? I mean, if you've said it, that's fine. I just want to make sure, because you still have some time. You've said it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Very well done. Okay. Joshua Kim? Is there a Joshua Kim? Okay. Kai Boderman? No Kai Boderman? Okay. That leaves Cameron Krijdowski. Is there a Cameron? Okay. Karen Rodriguez Sandoval.
Hello, I'm Karen Rodriguez Sandoval, and I'm a current student at Christopher High. I'm going to be a senior. So for why I applied to become a part of the Gilroy Youth Commission, well, one, I think there's such value in meeting and connecting with all different sorts of people. I've volunteered at many different places, the library, creek cleanups, many different schools, sports events, and learning about the stories of different people, their experiences. I think there's a lot of value. I also do speech and debate, and so I can firsthand know the power of words and speaking. And so hopefully what I want to accomplish on this board is increasing engagement from the youth and bringing that forth to you guys, because I myself cannot come up with all these amazing ideas that the youth of Gilroy can bring. So I hope by becoming a part of this commission, I can bring forth these ideas and increase youth engagement. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Kexuan? Kexuan? Okay. Lauren Lopez? Or Loren? Okay. Lizeth Gomez.
Good evening, Council. My name is Lizeth Gomez Rodriguez. And the reason why I want to be a part of the Youth Board Commission is because I love this country. I love all the rights that we have here. And I really want to show our youth in the city all the opportunities they have. And I want them to take advantage of these rights we have in this country.
Thank you. What school and grade did you say that? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
It's okay.
I'm a freshman in GECA.
Freshman at GECA. Okay. Well, go ahead. You still have plenty of time. Is there a particular thing that you want to specifically accomplish in your term?
So recently I've been seeing a really high disregard of education and school, and I really want to make a spark in our youth and encourage them to learn more, especially outside of schooling. I think learning is a really big part, and I think we need to encourage learning in our youth. It's great for character, and it really helps everyone in life to just learn every day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Paige Lott. Okay. Raylene. There we go.
Hello, I'm a 10th grader at GECA, and the reason I applied here is because I want to advocate for the developmented disabled. I have a family member myself who suffers from ASD, and I feel that this problem isn't spoken at all. Despite having so many systems here for them, it was so hard for my family to get them help, and I really want to help provide more services for others who may struggle with this problem as well. And along with this, I want to help senior citizens in Gilroy, because I feel like they also do not have as much as they need. They need so much care. I've been watching a lot of my grandparents for a while, and I've been legally doing so, and I feel like there aren't enough for them. Just like the lovely woman who came up here earlier, they have the same problem. They are moving to an apartment nearby, and there's no bus stop in front of them. That's their only way to travel. They need to walk a lot, and it's just so harsh on their bodies. They're really fragile, to be honest. And I want to just help advocate for these things. I want to provide my leadership and my communication to others to just help spread these ideas throughout our community and just help as many people as I can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well spoken. Okay. Ryan would be next. Ryan Nguyen, and then Sophia Romero.
Hello, my name is Ryan Nguyen, and I'm an incoming freshman at GECA. My goal in joining this youth commission is to help young kids and the people in my community, as well as to boost my leadership and experience. A major goal I want to accomplish is to create awareness or some way for children to get out there and do something. Because as a child, me and my sister, we were in a lot of activities. They helped build us to who we are now. But lately, I've noticed that the kids in my neighborhood, they don't really do anything. They just sit at home and watch iPad. So I think that a great way to help them is to create a program where they can get out and do activities like sporting activities, learning activities, just any way to just help them build themselves up.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sophia Romero.
Hello, my name is Sophia Romero. I am an upcoming senior at Christopher High. So I applied to be a part of this youth commission because this political atmosphere is exactly what I hope to achieve as a profession in my future. And I truly believe that this is an amazing way to learn, and I believe that education is power. One goal I have in completing my term would be ensuring safety here in Gilroy, whether that's advocating for bus stops or stop signs, and especially advocating for safe driving, especially drunk drivers. That's something near and dear to my heart. Unfortunately, I lost my father last year to a drunk driver, so it's something very important to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Zafara Brzezinski. Alfred James.
Hello, Council. My name is Alfred James, and I'm a rising senior at GECA. So the reason why I want to reapply for the Gilroy Youth Commission is because in the last few years that I've served on the commission, we found a lot of success in reaching out to the youth and creating successful opportunities for them. And not just the youth, but we also helped our older communities as well through our Senior Tech Week that we held last year. And Opportunity was also a huge success. So one of the main goals I hope to achieve if I do join again this year is to build on that success and help run the same events last year. And I'd also like to add a mental health workshop because I know that's a huge issue that's prominent amongst our youth today. So I think it would be really beneficial if we could hold one of those. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Anastasia Trong.
Good evening, Council. My name is Anastasia Trong, and I'm going to be a 10th grader at GECA next year. And so personally, I wanted to apply for this council because I wanted to expand my leadership skills because I've had experience with other leadership positions, but I would like to try out something new. And something I would like to help in the community is to bring the youth more involved because I feel that youth may feel that helping their community is something that older people might do, and I think it would be helpful to gain many perspectives, and which will help the community grow. So I think that is something I would strive for.
Thank you. Very good. Anish Mishra.
Hi, Board. My name is Anish Mishra. I'm going to be a junior at Gilroy Early College Academy. And what I would like to do if I were to be elected were to be having an impact on the youth. Whenever I first moved here from Salinas, I found myself extremely bored and extremely just lazy. But whenever I started to go outside, find things in the city with other people, my life changed for the better. And if I were to be able to have somebody else or look to a certain organization, event, or even person who were to be able to be positively affected by something that I would be able to do on the council, I would say that that would be my main goal. But mostly, just impact. I would like to make sure our youth is having things to do, having places to be. I want them active in the community. If they can help the community, they can make their lives and everybody's lives better.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here who I did not call? Okay. Then that concludes the interviews. I can't thank you all enough, on behalf of the entire council, for taking the time not only to submit an application, but to come here tonight. Yes. You know what this takes. So at our next meeting, we'll do the appointments. And as you know, there are far more. We're not usually in this position, but this is a great position. We have far more applicants than we have seats. So it'll be at the next meeting, August 19th, okay? So thank you all very, very much. All right? Okay.
Mayor, how many seats are open? 5. 5?
Mm-hmm. 5 seats. Okay. That brings us to the consent calendar. I can either take a motion or if somebody... no motion yet. Do we have any public comment on consent calendar? Okay, no public comment, so unless somebody wants to pull anything... Okay.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Councilmember Bracco, seconded by Councilmember Armendariz to approve the consent calendar. Okay.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Armendariz?
Yes.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Tovar?
Yes.
Mayor Blankley?
Yes, that passed unanimously. Okay, item 8, bids and proposals. We have none. Item 9, public hearings. Consideration of the report of abatement of weeds and refuse within the City of Gilroy and adoption of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilroy confirming the imposition of assessment liens against the land. First, I'll ask, does anyone have any ex parte communications to disclose? Okay, seeing none. Staff report is not Scott. It is Jonathan. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and the residents of Gilroy. Tonight's agenda item covers the final City of Gilroy Council activity for the 2024 weed abatement program process. Previously, at February 5th, 2024 meeting, the City approved the county's contract for weed abatement services and associated fees. At this meeting, Resolution 2024-06 was adopted by Council to declare weeds a nuisance and to begin the annual weed abatement process. The County Weed Abatement Program provides the weed abatement listing, notification letters, lot inspections, documentation, internet website, and arranges abatement services if needed. After Resolution 2024-06 was adopted, a list of lots requiring abatement was created by the county. The list of lots that have been on the previous list that have failed inspections for the last 3 years, and additional lots added to the list based on non-abatement during the prior season. All owners of the lots listed were sent a weed abatement notice, information, and instruction letter packet. On April 15, 2024, a public hearing was held to allow any owner of a listed lot to remove their lot from the program. Subsequently, Resolution 2024-19 was adopted, approving the list of properties subject to weed abatement. The county and the city conducted inspections after the May 15th weed abatement deadline. Property owners were able to communicate directly with the county or fire prevention staff if they had problems getting their lot abated. Any lot with high weeds after the deadline was sent a notice and a failed inspection fee. With this report, there is a list of lots inspected and those assessed a failed inspection fee and those that have been abated thus far. All sites on the list are assessed the $96 inspection fee. The sites with failed inspections are assessed an additional failed inspection fee of $546, and the lots that require abatement are assessed an additional $884 administrative fee, as well as the cost of the contract's abatement fee. The attached staff report and spreadsheet specify the details. There has been a gradual decrease with the total number of properties on the weed abatement list. Currently, there are 150 properties associated with this staff report. The list has been hovering around 160 properties for several years, but as properties become developed, the total number is expected to decrease. The property owners listed for fee assessment were sent a copy of the proposed assessment against their property in July. They have been given an opportunity to call, email, or meet with the County Weed Abatement Program, Montgomery, or fire prevention staff on or before August 5th to discuss, object, or obtain additional information about their assessment. Any property owner that has not raised an objection or has not provided a substantial reason why they should not be assessed still has another opportunity tonight to raise objections. In conclusion, it is recommended that Council adopt a resolution allowing the assessment of fees minus any qualifying objections as reported by the Santa Clara County Weed Abatement Program. Montgomery and I are available if you have additional questions.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. I do have a question about the fees versus, do you want to answer that, or is this a question for Mo?
I'll let Mo.
Okay, let him get him on the hot seat. Okay, yes, this is a county program. This weed abatement is right. We try to help enforce it, but in the end, all of these fees are coming from the county. So when we see, just because I see a lot of names on here that I hadn't seen before, and it's associated with $96, can you explain to us that $96 just means exactly what? It means it's an inspection fee. I understand that, but what happened that caused the need for the inspection fee?
Every property that's on the list has been found to be non-compliant during the fire season at least once in the last 3 years.
Okay.
The $96 this year is that when we inspected the property, it passed the inspection.
Got it.
So that would be at least one of the 3 required years of voluntary compliance to be removed from the program.
Okay, so if you failed to abate within the last 3 years, then at a minimum you're going to be assessed $96 each year in the next 3 years to make sure that everything's good?
To make sure everything's good and to cover the cost of making sure everything's good.
I understand, exactly, to cover
Yes.
the cost of making sure that everything's
Yes.
good because someone got on the list for whatever reason.
Yes.
And when it's the 642, that means when you went out to do the inspection, it in fact was not abated. So there's the $96 fee plus the $546 to have to abate?
That to process the work order,
Okay.
property owners are given a little bit of time, usually a couple of weeks, to bring it into compliance. If not, we'll then send that work order to the contractor, who would then initiate the other fee if they have to do work.
Okay.
Contractors do any work, they will take photographs prior to starting the work, showing that the work still needs to be done, and photographs after they're completed, showing that they did complete the work before any fees would be assessed above and beyond those we already listed.
Okay, and then the last question is timing, because I know I'm one who has to abate weeds, and I get the notification that it has to be done by May 15th.
Yes.
So if I don't do it until June 30th, what does that mean? That I go on the list?
If you're not on the list now, it would mean that you probably would be added to the list. You'll get an ad letter informing you that your property is not compliant and that we're recommending it for next year's list. Because we do have to go through this process before we can do anything.
Right. That's the question I'm trying to
Yeah.
get answered. Is that I
So-
do. I have it done by May 15th, but for those who don't, sometimes
They-
for whatever
they would-
reason, people just don't get to it when
They would receive a letter from us informing them that the property is non-compliant. There are no fees at this point because they haven't been through the process.
Right.
They'll get a notice in December informing them of when the next public hearing is, where they can challenge that inclusion in the program in front of you.
Right.
And if it passes, then they would be charged
Yeah.
the inspection fee once an inspection takes place.
Right. Do you actually inspect that quickly after May 15th? Like if someone does it on May 20th, does that generally, maybe it shouldn't be something to say, but I'm just curious as to how, because there are just so many names on here that I would not have expected that I'm hoping it's because it was significantly after May 15th, like at least a month.
Well, it is after May 15th, but because we're inspecting in the entire county, and this is the last jurisdiction we inspect, and it generally is
Quite a bit
week
later.
or two after the May 15th that we're here. Some of these were inspected as late as September and found to be non-compliant. They may have been inspected earlier as well. We continue those inspections. The requirements are that the weeds and grass be cut by May 15th and maintained through the end of October. That's the worst part of the fire season is actually September and October. Everything's completely dry, and anything that goes up will burn very quickly.
Yes. No, I know this is serious. This is not something to be taken lightly. It's fires, and that's what happens. And I said the last thing before, but correct me if I'm wrong, we can't go after public agencies. Like we can't put Valley Water on the... I saw Union Pacific on here, but my understanding is they're on here because Union Pacific has asked to be on here. Just take care of it and bill us.
Actually, Union Pacific, PG&E, AT&T, they're under the State Board of Equalization, so they can actually be billed. Public entities, the city, state, school systems,
Valley
those
Water.
are non-taxed properties, so there would be no way for us to collect the fees.
I see.
We do, however, work with most of those agencies when we find properties that are non-compliant. I have, on behalf of the city, worked with Caltrans on a couple of off-ramp areas that had been a problem previously to get some of those issues resolved. We have relationships with most of the public entities, and we are able to help persuade them to handle some of these issues more quickly. Of course, we don't know all of them, so if you have them and you want help, give us a call. We're more than happy to use what little influence we have to help get those things done.
All right. Thank you. Council members, does anyone else have a question? Councilmember Armendariz?
Thank you. So the administrative fee is $884, and that's separate from the other fees? The inspection fee, the failed inspection fee? Is that true?
The fees all become cumulative.
Okay.
Everybody got inspected, everybody pays $96. Everyone that failed the inspection would pay the $546. and then anyone for whom we had to perform the abatement would pay that administrative fee on top of that, plus the actual cost that we pay a contractor to cut the weeds.
Right. That's not the cost of abating. That's an
No, that's
administrative
just the
cost.
administrative charge.
And how was that charged? Do you know how we arrived at that amount? That's something set by the county.
The county calculates those fees every year based on the number of properties that we overall. We get the best fee rate by combining it all as one, dividing the number of parcels based on the amount of time spent doing inspections, for example, comes up to the $96. I think last year it was 92. This year it's 96. 1 year it was 84. It goes up and down depending on the parcels, but the fees are calculated based on the amount of time we spend on each of these items and the amount of properties that are affected by that, the percentage of properties that have to be abated, for example, which is relatively low in comparison to the overall number.
In speaking to folks, or do you have the opportunity to speak to folks who've appealed these fines?
I've spoken to several people that have appealed. I don't know about necessarily here in Gilroy, but I'm doing this countywide, and this is one of the last 4 hearings that we have.
What would you say is the reason, if there's a reason in common, that most folks don't abate or aren't able to comply?
The most common remark that we receive is, we didn't know. We try to provide as much information as we can. We've had some social media videos put out, those kinds of things. It's hard to make everybody know, but to everybody on this program, before they get a fee, they get a notice that informs them of all the details, including a brochure describing what's due depending on the size of the property and so on, and questions and answers. But it also provides contact information for my office so they can call one of the inspectors or myself and ask any questions they might have regarding this, so we can try to provide as much help as possible. I don't really want to cut anybody's weeds. I'd much rather they all do it themselves.
Have you found folks who have a physical issue where they're not able to cut them, or an economic issue where they're not able to afford the abatement themselves? Is that common?
We do run into it, but it's not necessarily that common, and we do refer them to organizations like the County's Fire Safe Council that have programs to help people with that. Some cities like Santa Clara have their own fireman's fund type of thing that they do to also to help, say, senior citizens or those who are physically unable. We try to help them to get the resources. We just don't have those resources.
But you share those
we share what resources we are aware of, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, Councilmember Tovar.
Thank you, Mayor. Mo and Josh, thank you for this report here. The mayor mentioned it earlier, kind of one of the names on here, Union Pacific, theirs is at $8,200, right? That's what they're funding.
Yes.
So I heard that they want to be on this list. I'm trying to understand, is it because, like you said, they didn't know about it, or they're saying just do it, it's cheaper for you guys to do it than for us to do it? I'm just trying to understand why they would.
Well, I can say that I've been here for 18 years.
Yeah.
Union Pacific has not shown a lot of concern one way or the other, not even in contacting us to say, hey, you're charging us $8,000 is one property. Let's keep that in mind. They have a lot more than one property in this county. I believe they're paying $100,000 this year to us for abatement work countywide.
Okay, got it. So it's just not Gilroy, it's countywide.
No, it's countywide.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go to public comment. Do we have any? No public comment. Okay, then it's back to council.
I think we have a gentleman back here.
Oh, I thought that's what I was doing. Okay. Okay, let's open for public comment. So come on up.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You're
Thank
on
you so much.
The clock is up there.
Yeah, this will take just a minute. Hi, my name is Dave Reynolds. I have actually been in touch with Mo and in touch with the different parties because I've been trying to figure out this process. We purchased a property in May of last year, and the previous owner we weren't informed of the fact that it was on the abatement. So we cleared it, we fenced it, and have kept it clear. And I was trying to be removed from the abatement list. I mean, I'm happy to pay the $96, but not every year for the next couple of years through that process. So I was trying to figure out how to be removed from the abatement list for that property. I sent out a packet with some pictures and some information prior to the meeting, which I'm happy to go through. But in general, like I said, I've spoken with Mo and other parties to figure out how to be removed from the abatement list at large, I guess. That's my question.
Okay, thank you. And the next speaker, we'll do there was another speaker? Oh, there's not another speaker. Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay, closing public hearing. And Mo, did you want to respond?
The property that they purchased last year had failed and had a $1,200 assessment against the property. So this year is the first year of voluntary compliance. The program is designed to follow the property, not the owner. And once a property goes into the program, it is either stays on until it demonstrates 3 consecutive years of voluntary compliance or is built in landscape sufficient to remove the risk of fire hazard on the property.
Does this have the latter?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, then that comes back to council. This comes back to council. We are looking for, I close the public hearing. Okay, we have a motion to approve by Councilmember Bracco.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Marks, and this will be a roll call vote.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Armendariz?
Yes.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Tovar?
Yes.
Mayor Blankley?
Yes, and that passes unanimously. Okay, under unfinished business, 10.1, approval of the city's revised annual shared cost sidewalk replacement program. Heba is going to give us this report. When she finds it, huh?
Yes, I apologize.
That's
it's
okay.
Taking a minute.
No problem.
And I found it. Honorable Mayor and Council members, good evening. This presentation will cover the update to the sidewalk replacement program. And a number of changes have been made since it was first brought before you on May 6, which will be explained during the presentation. Just as a refresher of the information shared on May 6, the city has had a sidewalk replacement program since 2006. The program has not been effective in addressing the sidewalk repairs citywide in a timely manner. The program currently relies on the property owners agreeing to pay upfront cost of all repairs and then seeking reimbursement for the qualified expenses from the city. Because the property owners are responsible for seeking bids and hiring the contractor with the lowest bid, we end up with different contractors doing different quality work citywide, which is not very effective. And it requires more staff time for inspection and coordination with multiple contractors. Which is not efficient in terms of administration. And there is no current mechanism for enforcement and ensuring that work is being done in a timely manner. I should mention that City staff is not recommending any changes to the funding of the program. City Council in June of last year approved the 5-year CIP program, including this project, with $500,000 annual budget. A summary of the changes that have been made following the comments that we've received on May 6. We're now recommending that we provide advance notice to the affected properties with the estimated costs in advance of pursuing the bid process and project construction. Following the completion of the work, we would invoice the property owners with the actual costs, and rather than providing them with 3 months to pay, we're extending that to 6 months to pay. The third main change is increasing the duration of the payment plan. Property owners would have the choice of selecting to pay over a payment plan that does not exceed a 1-year period. So the overall process so far could extend to 2 years. Also, one of the alternatives that was considered on May 6, and it's now part of the program, is to eliminate any cost share for community members, residents who occupy their properties and are enrolled in the PG&E care program based on their gross income.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. If they're occupying the residence and they're not the owner, but they're still enrolled in PG&E.
Can you ask your question in the microphone? And
Sorry about
is
that.
it okay to have questions as we go?
Yes, of course.
I just want clarification because somebody asked me about this. So if they are occupying the residence but are not the owners.
No, it has to be the owner.
Right. But if they're enrolled in PG&E, then there's no cost to them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If they're owner occupied and they're enrolled in the PG&E care program, then there is no cost.
Right. Thank you.
So the main updates to the program, the city will identify all the repairs needed based on our Street Saver database. Also in light of the main traffic generators in the city, for example, schools and along school routes, and as well as based on feedback and comments received from the community. The city will notify the community members that are affected by the deficiencies identified and prioritized with an estimate of what could be their cost share. The staff will then establish a single CIP led by the city to implement all improvements, including curb and gutter, sidewalks, trees replacement, and driveway replacement. Following completion of the work, we would invoice the abutting property owners and with a 6 months period for the payment, and we will also provide them with a 30-day reminder ahead of the due date. We will offer a payment plan if they choose to use it with a 1 year for the payments. Residents who are, as I mentioned, owner-occupied and part of the PG&E care program would not be assessed any cost share. If the payments are not received on time, then it will go through the process of a lien against the individual properties and paid with the property taxes, which is in the form of 2 payments. So the actions mainly will extend over a 4-year period. The first year would be the estimate and sharing this information with the community that's affected by the project, project design, construction, and issuing of the invoices. The second year would be for the payment, especially if they choose to utilize the option of a payment plan. The third year would be for the actual payment, and if not paid, then the lien process would be initiated and associated public hearings. So actual payments would be in the fourth year. The cost sharing are not changing from what we currently practice. If the sidewalk replacement is caused by a private tree, it would be paid by the property owner, 100%. If it's by a public tree, then it's 50% by the city, 50% by the property owner. If it's a private tree replacement, then 100% by the owner. If it's a public tree, then 100% by the city. Curb and gutter replacement, that's always 100% by the city. The driveway is paid by the owner. And the only change to the costs sharing is the limit that we currently practice for improvements adjacent to commercial properties. It's currently $20,000, and we're increasing that to $30,000. So why do property owners have to pay for the sidewalk repairs and other improvements? Because it improves safety conditions and general aesthetics, which would increase the property values. And it's consistent with the California Streets and Highway Code and the city's municipal code. Property owners are liable and responsible for the repair and maintenance of any damaged sidewalk and park strip adjacent to their homes or businesses. Also, Chapter 22 of the California Streets and Highways require allow the city to arrange for the repairs and then with sufficient notice invoice the affected owners, and if not paid, a lien on the property for the amount owed is established until the assessment and all interest is paid. As I mentioned, to better support our community, there will be no cost sharing by low-income residents who occupy their properties and are enrolled in the PG&E Care program. The gross annual household income varies depending on the number of persons per household. For example, it's close to $41,000 for 1 to 2 person household, and it's close to $84,000 for 6 person household. Staff is also recommending establishing a second contract for minor repairs that will be led by the city with no cost sharing involved. And that would be for the remaining 4 year out of the 5-year CIP program, so fiscal year 25 through 28. Using the remaining funds from the sidewalk replacement program for fiscal year 24, which is approximately $260,000. So what are the main improvements that we're expecting from the program updates? There will be no upfront large sums of fund that have to be paid by the property owners to fund all improvements. There will also be better support for our community members who cannot pay any of the cost shares for improvements if they are enrolled in the PG&E CARE program. The city will take the lead, which will minimize efforts on the part of the property owners. There will be efficient application through a single contract, consistent quality of work that is inspected by the city, which will also reduce the demands on our staff, and we're expecting that it will increase the quality of work in general. It will also reduce the demands on the current program by establishing the second contract for the minor repairs. So staff tonight is recommending City Council approval of the city's revised annual shared cost sidewalk replacement program. Subject to council approval, the contract for implementing the program will be established this fiscal year and managed by the city. The second contract for the minor repairs, also managed by the city, will be established this fiscal year and will extend over a 4-year period. With that, I will end my presentation and will be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. I don't see anyone on my board, so I'm going to go. Oh, okay, go ahead, Councilmember Bracco.
How about, will a homeowner still be able to do it themselves? You know, there's people that, they're contractors that live in Gilroy.
That is not currently a provision in the update. The idea is to implement it as fast as possible, as efficiently as possible, using the same contractor and quality of work overseen by the city.
What if the neighbors there, they go out and they get an estimate from a licensed contractor and it's a lot cheaper?
We're not expecting that will be the case, although it depends on the size of the project. But we cannot really allow provisions like that. Otherwise, we will continue with the same piecemeal as we're practicing today. The idea is to have a single contract for all improvements.
Okay. I have a question. Mine is trying to understand the bigger picture. We have this $500,000 budget per year. And so under this new policy, if it's approved, the city would be the one determining which sidewalks are getting fixed when, correct? Kind of like we're doing with streets. And so there will always be somebody thinking that a different street should have been done before that street, and, but that is how this policy will go, is that the city will identify which ones need to happen this year, which ones need to happen next year, up to the funding budget that's there. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, and it's going to be dependent on the severity of the damage on the roadways, which is in our street saver. Along with other factors. And we're expecting that we would be faster in implementing these improvements. For a number of years now, consecutively, we haven't been spending the funding amount simply because we haven't been able to implement
I understand.
The needed improvements.
No, this is a good thing. I'm just wondering how, I guess a little bit like what Councilmember Bracco was saying, how do residents feel like they're able to either tell you, or how do they know that you know about this particular issue that they keep encountering every day when they go on their evening walk that they think is, the worst situation that there can be? How do they find out that that is at least known to the city, whether or not it's going to be actually fixed this year or the next year or the next year?
This will actually all be public information, because we're not going to plan 1 year at a time. We're going to gradually identify the improvements. We already have a list of over 140 locations, which we are taking into account in assessing. The community is always welcome to reach out to us. And the bid process it's a public process.
Okay.
And the information will be available to the community.
So it's like with streets. If people are wondering about a particular street, they can look at the map and see which ones we're doing this year or next year. It'll be the same for sidewalks. It'll address by address. It'll have the address of the property where this is, or will it just say on this street between this and this?
It will probably be by roadway segments.
Okay.
It depends on the location. It could be identified in relation to an intersection, like a distance from an intersection, or by address. It depends on the location.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Any other questions from council before I go to public comment? Okay, opening public comment. I see one. Ron Kirkish. There you are.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
Council. This issue is kind of dear to my heart. It's probably the first issue that I got involved in with the city. And at that time, Jay Baxa was the city manager or city administrator. And I believe Andy or Linda Cowland was sitting next to you. And
Thank you.
I
Back
believe,
the timer.
I think Dion and I can't see anybody else was on the council, but there was Kat and Bob Dillon actually ran on that issue at the time. It was very controversial. And so the outcome of that time, at that time, was actually very, very beneficial to the city. But today, it's even better. I really appreciate the work that you're all doing. My one question is, when I did my sidewalk, I had to pay for the removal of the tree, and I think to see that it says now the city will pay 100% for the city tree. That's very, very good. But does that include removal and replacement of the tree? And I like what you're saying, because if the city does it, it's going to be uniform. All right. If we have outside people doing it, they're going to use different techniques possibly and stuff like that. So I do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Seeing no other speakers, closing public comment, comes back to council. Any other questions remaining? Okay. Is there a motion for approval?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Councilmember Tovar and seconded by Councilmember Armendariz to approve the city's revised annual shared cost sidewalk replacement program.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Armendariz?
Yes.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Tovar?
Yes.
Mayor Blankley?
Yes, and that passes unanimously. All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you. All right. 10.2. For the Love of Gilroy Public Art Campaign, a selection of designs and award of intellectual property right agreements in the amount of $500 each. This was a fun one to look through in our packet, that's for sure. Okay, Bryce, you're giving us this report?
Yes, Mayor, Council. First, actually, I think. So the item for council approval is for approval of awarding designs for the public art campaign titled For the Love of Gilroy. So the Arts and Culture Commission created the public art campaign to install public art banners designed by local artists in downtown Gilroy along Monterey Road. This effort was approved by council March 18, 2024. The commission issued a call for artists that closed on June 25th. The city received 38 designs from 32 artists. 9 of them were minors. Of the 32 artists, 4 were either not Gilroy residents but had connections to that the commission recommends making them eligible, or were not able to provide evidence of their eligibility, which we'll discuss on the next slide. So the 4 artists in question, the first is Victoria Garcia, submission number 37. She does not live in Gilroy, but does qualify under the program as she attends a school in Gilroy. And her design is included in the recommended award list by the Commission. Orlando Salcido, submission number 27, is not a current Gilroy resident, student, or working in regular paid employment in Gilroy, but the Commission is recommending him as eligible since he did grow up, go to school, and work in Gilroy previously, currently assists his mother in maintaining her residence in Gilroy, and assists with several art and community events held in Gilroy. Additionally, he is heavily involved in the Gilroy arts community as a member of the Gilroy Arts Roundtable and did paid work for the La Ofrenda Festival. And so for these reasons, the Commission recommends him as eligible, and his design is also included on the recommended award list. The last 2, Ford and Ivy. These were very young artists that submitted hand-drawn designs in an event where the Arts and Culture Commission was tabling. An email was written on the design, but no response to inquiries from staff were received. Unable to verify eligibility, the Commission was obligated to recommend them as ineligible. So of the 38 designs, 30 were deemed eligible by the Commission during their evaluation. The other 8 were deemed ineligible. However, after the release of the agenda packet and staff report, the report was sent to artists that submitted. One artist contested the determination of the submittal as ineligible. A prohibition of material-related drugs and alcohol was intended for the program, similar to our flag-flying policy. However, the specific statement either did not make it into the document or was inadvertently deleted during editing. The artist identified that no prohibition was in the document, which we'll discuss in the next slide. So this table lists the 8 designs originally recommended as ineligible. We'll go through them briefly. Council may, in its discretion, determine that a design may be eligible and place in the recommended list. The first 2 were previously discussed due to artist eligibility, Ford and Ivy. The third submittal number 11, is highlighted on this slide, and this is the submission the artist has challenged the ineligibility recommendation. The design originally received praise from the commissioners, but with the understanding that alcohol was intended to be a prohibited subject, the commission did not rank the design. The artist decided that the wine was included to reference the wine trail of Gilroy in the community. Next is Christina Dow's submittal. You'll notice the asterisks on there. This is one of multiple designs submitted by this artist. This design has newspaper photographs depicting business names, name signs, some of which are currently in business. The Commission felt that the signs may violate the prohibition on business promotion. The next one is Santiago Moreno's design, also one of the artists that submitted multiple designs. The design contained mushrooms in the design, which the Commission felt may be considered a drug reference and recommended it to be deemed ineligible. The next 2, Sarah Bostock and Tammy Brown's designs, featured photographs of Old City Hall, but the photos showed clearly enough of the beer signs in the windows, both alcohol material but also possible business promotion, that the Commission recommended deem ineligible. And then finally, Juliet Gonzalez's submission was captured by our cybersecurity software and did not make the review of the Commission. Staff did deem the submittal as timely, as a security software captured email before the deadline was reached. However, the content is recommended by staff to be ineligible as well, since it intentionally features current local business names running throughout the design. These designs were included in the agenda packet for review by Council, and again, Council may determine to move either of those to the recommended award list in its discretion. So the ACC originally recommended 3 designs. Oh, wait, sorry. Oops, if I advance the slide. On this slide is the Commission's recommended award list, split half on each side. On the left, under recommendation number 13, is a thick bottom border which indicates the designs that will be produced and displayed, assuming that each of the 13 complete the contract for the purchase of the designs. Should any not sign, the awards would then proceed down to the next submittal. The first design award from an artist with multiple entries would be design number 16, or recommendation number 16 on the top of the right list, from Christina Dow. If selection proceeds this far, then the next award would skip number 17 and proceed to the next artist, number 18. If Council desires to move any ineligible designs into this list, staff asks to have its rank identified, as well as if there are any amendments to this recommendation. So in terms of fiscal impact, the Council may approve or modify the proposed order of awards or reject one, more than one, or all designs. The total fiscal impact is $8,100 from the Public Art Fund. This consists of the original $7,500 authorized by council, plus the receipt of one $600 donation from Camille McCormick for an additional banner, which is our 13th banner. The recommendation is for council to approve the Arts and Culture Commission's recommended award order. And the next step, staff will proceed to contract with artists of council-selected designs. That completes the presentation. I'm happy to receive any comments or questions.
Okay, thank you, Bryce. I see Councilmember Marks. You're on the board?
Yes, Bryce, did I misunderstand you when you said that there was a phrase that was inadvertently omitted that said that drugs and alcohol could not be included in the picture?
Correct. So the commission had discussed it extensively. It was to be included, but somewhere in one of the edits, it either did not make it to the next revision. We tried to copy the policy for the flag flying as far as materials, but we had to change the language slightly because art submissions is a little different than a flag design.
That picture, I mean, it's a beautiful painting, beautiful picture, a lot of detail. Would the artist be allowed to take out the wine glass with the wine in it, and maybe either, creatively do something else with it or put something else in the person's hand that's holding it? Because it definitely took a lot of time to do. If you didn't see it, you should go and see it in the packet. It's gorgeous. What do you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, since it's a competitive process for awarding of cash source of purchase, we wouldn't be able to do that without opening it to everybody to redesign all of the designs.
But it seems like the person did it not knowing that he wasn't allowed to do it.
Correct.
So that's not. That just doesn't sound fair to me. It really doesn't.
So it's up to council if they wish to deem something that was ineligible as eligible. Upon the purchase of the design is ours to modify as we wish at that point upon completion of the agreement. But that is not something that has been actively discussed.
Council, what do you think?
Well,
Carol.
Okay, I have a question for Carol too about that subject, but you want to go ahead?
Thank you. Thank you, Carol, for asking that question. And I completely agree with what Councilmember Mark is saying. You look at this beautiful painting, right? I don't see it as somebody who's drinking the alcohol. We have 32 plus wineries out here. That's part of Gilroy.
How many?
So I would,
Yeah.
So I guess it's up to the council to decide if it's something that we want to reopen, because I would hate to lose this.
But if we decide that it shouldn't be ineligible, then the next question is, where does it rank? Isn't it?
And do we include the two that have
Right.
Old City Hall, neon signs for alcohol in them?
I think you have to send it back and let them all
If
have
we,
another chance.
if
I
we
agree.
give them another chance. Is there room for more banners?
There is physical space, but there's not any additional funding identified for it.
And it's what, $500 each?
$500 each. The one challenge we also have is timing. So the planned unveiling event is September 20th, and so we have a production schedule. We can allow a limited amount of time for redesigns, but we'd have to keep it very tight.
I would say personally, I would just like to see the one that's caught up in this issue where he didn't know that he couldn't put it in. I'm sure it would take him less than a day just to make the adjustment and get it turned in.
But there's three.
Well, yeah, there's three, actually.
Oh, the Old City Hall.
Yeah.
See, I think but I thought it was also advertised in a restaurant, and that's what they didn't like.
Correct. It's not the advertisement, but the sign is a specific brand of alcohol, and so that was it's the alcohol containment plus also the potential business promotion.
But it's only one. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But it is only one that is ineligible because of a statement that was inadvertently left out.
Yes.
The others were ineligible for other reasons.
Correct.
The other two. So it is one.
So to me, it should just be that one
So
that we address.
is there enough time if the council wanted to say that one is in fact not ineligible, to send it back to the Arts and Culture Commission to decide where it ranks?
Or find $500 more to just fund it? Because I'd hate to now have someone bumped who was told they were approved.
Well, they aren't approved. That's what we're doing tonight.
Right, but I mean, they're on the list. They're on the eligible list.
I understand, but that's what we're doing tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered if there was time to go, because I personally think what the Arts and Culture Commissioners have done is amazing.
Right, I agree.
Absolutely amazing. And so I would rather I would not want to rank this one within all the others myself. I would prefer that the commission do it if there's time.
It does list the other two as containing an alcohol and business reference. So it seems like they were deemed ineligible because they have identifiable beer signs in the windows in the painting, in the
Bryce,
photograph.
when does the art commission meet again?
The next meeting is in a little over 2 weeks.
So what if we give whomever, if it's just the one or the three, up to that time, so then the art commission can decide then? I mean, 2 weeks is not
If
that far out.
If that's the council's will, we can do that. It'd be up to the actual artists themselves as far as if they have
Right.
the time to render that. And
Well,
then
yeah,
present to the
we'll leave it
Arts
up to
and
them
Culture
if they
Commission.
decide.
And then does it still have to come back to us for approval?
It
No?
depends on how council phrases the motion and action.
Do a
You can approve it
contingency.
with the inclusion that if these three pieces or one piece, whatever council's direction is redesigned and meets their standards, then the Arts and Culture Commission can take the discretion to
I would
choose.
be good with that.
But I would just support
for
the
all
one.
three or just that one?
For me, it'd be just the one.
Let's see the other two.
Then it's
The other two
not
didn't
fair.
know it either.
Yeah, it
you
wouldn't
know?
be fair either.
It should be, it should be all three because it wasn't their fault.
I thought you said the other two had something else.
It was both. It's the
okay.
presence of alcohol, but it's also a specific business reference.
Which was
So, but
listed
we
as
can treat
something.
it as a
And the
motion.
business reference was a criteria.
Yes.
But the
okay.
business reference is Old City Hall, right? Or
No,
iconic
there's a
city-
Michelob Ultra sign that's easily identifiable, as well as a Blue Wave beer.
Yeah,
sign.
it's only one
Okay,
that was.
so
The
it's
problem
just
is
really
the
one.
designs
Yes.
will be blown up to be banner size, and they will
Okay.
be very visible.
Bryce, can I ask a question? So, depending on where we go with this, let's just say, because again, I think the question was asked if we did find extra funding, right? If it's one or three. If the answer to that is no, would a private donor be able to say, you know what, I will cover the 500 or I'll cover the 1,500? Is that possible?
Yes. So one of the 13 banners is funded by a private donation, and it would fall under our donation policy.
That was right. You mentioned it, Camille McCormick. Yes.
Right. So I would say, that I think we would give them up to 2 weeks, obviously, to correct this, allow the art commission to decide and rank it, and in the meantime, obviously, I and others can look for some private donations.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be part of the, right, you can always just do
Right.
that if you have money. Go ahead. Okay, so then, public comment. Did I go to public comment yet? No, I did not? No speakers? Okay, so closing public comment. It's back to council. Then we would be looking for a motion to approve the Arts and Culture Commissioner's recommendation with asking them to go back and include the one.
Well, I think you'd have to ask the artist first if he wants to go back and make a correction. And if he does, then continue with your motion.
Well, okay, the motion's going to be assuming that, because if the artist doesn't want to, then
it's done.
All right, I don't think that needs to be part of the motion
okay.
to
All
say
right.
that, but I think what we're saying by this motion, if somebody is making a motion, is that the one that was deemed ineligible is in fact not ineligible.
Right.
And therefore, what would you Arts and Culture Commissioners do with that?
Yeah.
And that the City Council otherwise approves their recommendation.
I'll make that motion, yep.
Okay?
Yep.
You have a comment, Councilmember
Just a
McCoy?
comment. I just want to make sure that we're supporting the council or the Arts and Culture Commission and the work that they've done.
Yes.
And this was inadvertent in the sense of that being left out as far as no alcohol.
Well, the Arts and Culture Commission deemed it ineligible.
Right, they did
Right.
it. And they've done all the work, so I really want to support that too and not question their work in that sense. Or this sends a message of maybe questioning that is all. Just
So
wanna
our
be sure.
language includes approval of everything else.
Right.
But are we asking them to rework their whole?
No, I think we're just asking them to not make that one ineligible, and then it's up to them, however that's going to change
to decide it.
their recommendations. It may not, or it may, but that's what
Does
they
it
do.
have to say why we want that one changed, just to take out the alcohol? Because the way you're wording it, it makes it sound like we're telling them just to go back and reconsider it.
We're telling them that we disagree that it is ineligible.
As long as the correction is made. With the removing the wine glass. That's what we're saying. I think that has to be in the
Are we changing
motion.
the eligibility requirement, or are we asking them to change the art?
Well, there is, I guess, a provision that says you can't have alcohol in a painting. So I think the painting's beautiful as is. Being an artist, I bet the person could just take out the glass of alcohol and put something in. But let him be the decider of that.
There's a lot more to do.
Well, so then we're asking them to
can't just erase
give the artist an opportunity to edit their artwork.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's his choice.
Right.
He wants to do it.
And he may not, or he or she may not. Him.
It's a he.
And at least give him the opportunity.
Up to 2 weeks before the.
Right. Before it has to be before the next commission meeting. And then,
Have we made a plausible motion here?
I don't know. There's a lot of words.
Okay, that does not have to come back to the council.
No.
Right.
Okay, so it was made by Councilmember Tovar?
Yes.
And
I'll second.
And it was seconded by Councilmember Marks. Okay. So, Beth, if you could do the roll call.
Councilmember Bracco?
No.
Councilmember Armendariz?
Yes.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Klein?
No.
Councilmember Tovar?
Yes.
Mayor Blankley?
Yes. Okay, that was 5-2, I believe. Okay, under unfinished business, no, yes, we're still under unfinished business.
New business.
Oh, we're under new, sorry. Oh, okay, item 11, introduction of new business. Proposal from the Gilroy Sister Cities Association for an agreement for services, and Bryce is giving this report.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The City and Gilroy Sister Cities Association, GSCA, work together to manage the relationship with Gilroy's 6 sister cities. This item seeks council consideration of a proposed agreement from the GSCA to resume financial support and establish expectations between both the GSCA and the city. The GSCA was formed in 2005. As part of the collaboration, the city has historically provided $5,000 per year to the GSCA. This is believed to have begun in 2012 as part of a budget approval at that time. For several years, GSCA did not request funding, and staff was not aware of the 2012 budgetary approval, and due to this, no funds were dispersed. Staff did not receive communications from GSCA regarding the lack of payments until early 2023. As rules and audit requirements have changed significantly since 2012, staff prepared and issued a draft agreement on March 21st, 2023. Financial contributions require contracts and documentation approving expenditure as part of audit review, and auditors do ask for these. The practice now is established with other partnering agencies as well. The Chamber of Commerce, Visit Gilroy, and SV Creates are examples. It also memorializes the nature of the partnership and protections for both parties. After transmitting the draft agreement, staff received no comment until November 21st, 2023, 8 months later. Correspondents did not reference the agreement, and when replying, GSCA stated they wished to schedule a meeting to discuss the city's commitment and agreement. The city continued efforts to maintain communication, which became delayed again until the city reached out in January 2024 to press about the meeting. Ultimately, the latest agreement version discussed between the two parties came from GSCA and was received and is before council tonight. The city is moving to establish its contracts for audit purposes, as discussed, and discussion between staff and GSCA has reached a point for an agreement to be presented to council. The agreement does not change the functions or services that GSCA provides to the city and community except for a few small details. One, the request to increase contributions from $5,000 to $15,000 annually, which are now proposing to be reimbursement-based, and the requirement to provide annual presentations to council and copies of the GSCA's adopted budget as part of the reimbursement structure of the agreement. In summary of the agreement, GSCA is committed to manage relations with the City of Gilroy and its established sister cities, help with research and due diligence for potential new sister city relationships, meet, greet, assist, and host visitors on official visits from our sister cities, provide annual reports now by the end of each calendar year starting in 2024, followed by a presentation to council, provide copies of the annual budget, and other tasks relating to sister cities as may be needed or prudent. The city is committing as part of this agreement to render payment within 45 days of receiving an acceptable invoice, making reasonable effort to receive official visitors from the sister cities that might be requested or those interested in becoming sister cities, and make reasonable effort to be represented and participate at various welcoming and or farewell gatherings hosted by GSCA. So alternatives, council may alternatively amend or reject this proposed agreement. Any amendment would require a return to negotiation. Rejection of the agreement would require determination about the future of the relationship between the city and GSCA. The fiscal impact is $15,000 annually on a reimbursement basis, with costs absorbed in the general fund for this year, and then will be included in future budget proposals for council consideration if approved. So the recommendations for council consideration of approving the proposed agreement, and the next steps, if approved by council staff, will then finalize agreement with GSCA. That completes the presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Do council members have any comments or questions to start discussion?
Just a question.
Councilmember Armendariz. Okay, Tom, I see you on the board. Okay.
When did we start paying them? Like, we went a long time without giving them any money, and then when did they start collecting?
Our belief is that 2012 was the budget approval process that started that funding. Unfortunately, I don't have specific knowledge of what date that officially started, though.
There's no record of it.
Not that I can recall off the top of my head. We can come back to council on a separate email with that date, but I don't have that available.
There's no city archive of that, like, record.
If we look back at our general ledger, but going back that far involves transitioning back to an older financial system that's closed down. So it's a very involved and detailed process to dig through, and we just don't have that information at this point in time.
And then they went a long time without billing us for it, but we have caught up with the payments that we owe them?
No. So this agreement is setting the expectation and resuming that any financial contribution that council may deem appropriate.
So all the activities that they've done with the cities has been through fundraising privately?
Unfortunately, I couldn't answer that on their behalf.
That's
okay. Councilmember Klein, do you want to go? Fred Tovar's on.
I have a couple things to ask. Just in working with sister cities through this process over this last year or so and getting that. The one thing I'd like to start with is to ask Councilmember Bracco. He's been around for a long time, and just to kind of get historically his perspective, his knowledge and perspective of this process with sister cities in this agreement, and how council at that point both directed staff to carry out that payment, and any follow-up that you were aware of or not aware of over that time.
Well, as I remember it, we had sister cities, but nobody was really doing anything with them. They would once in a while come here, and there was nothing for them. So then Mayor Al put together a group of folks in Gilroy that took this on, and they started raising money. They came to the city. The city viewed it as a real plus for the city of Gilroy because they're representing us. They go to Takamachi and over to Portugal and stuff. So they're our representatives. So we paid for that. Now, I believe during COVID, there was some issues that they didn't get billed. But if you got an agreement, you still got to pay your bills. Doesn't matter if COVID came and they couldn't get their bills out or not. So that's about what I remember of it.
Okay. I think there's, you talked about the relationship partnership. I know that paperwork talks about partnership. And we see here what that is. It's part of who we are, sister cities, and the relationships we build with these other cities in other countries. And it's an intrinsic value that it brings to Gilroy, and it's important to really revisit that in my mind. And, I look at those in talking with them and trying to come to what would work, at least, and I'll just share with you this, and it's up to you to decide how do you want to do it, because I think there needs to be a stopping point to what was there and a beginning point in what we're doing now in agreements with groups. I know Gilroy has one, Chamber of Commerce, and as part of those processes too, so understanding the reasons why. And so with them, we said, okay, 19, they hadn't been paid for that, very active. And then naturally with COVID, 20, 21, and maybe into 22, that there's inactivity just maintaining insurance and covering overhead and whatnot, but not the expenditures that they would do in a normal, like 19. And so in my mind, funding them, or at least compensating them for 19, and then 22, 23, reinstituting the program would go a long way at helping getting them. And by that, the 5,000 times 3, and then those couple of years, 2021, it's around 3,000 each year. So that would be, to my way of kind of bringing to close what was done previously, and then instituting this contract moving forward of 24 on, and how they would be taken care of. Is it 15? I know we talked about different numbers. 10,000 might be fair, building up to that. But again, it's up to us to kind of help staff work through those. So that was my thought in terms of kind of bridging both and just moving forward with this and getting this contract done. And with that also, because timing and just the way things have changed, taking COVID and beyond, it would be very helpful, I think, for us to have a study session with sister cities. Maybe it's later this year, the end of this year, or into next year around the budget cycle, so we can understand all of the costs that are involved in that. They can share that with us and really lay that out so it's clear what that is going on, what they have to do in order to host these different cities and have events for us, both not only here, but there in those cities. So just a thought.
Okay, Councilmember Tovar.
Thank you. Bryce, I don't know if you're able to answer this question, but and I know that we've been really active with Japan and Portugal, right? The two sister cities. Now, do we have 5 official or 6 official sister cities?
Or 6 official.
Okay, it says 5 on here, so I want to make sure. The reason why I ask, because and I'm trying to get an understanding of kind of the activity or inactivity of the other, cities, because I was, someone from Mexico called me a few months ago wanting to try to re-engage, obviously, the relationship, and I kind of referred them back over to the sister cities. But can you tell me, where are we with these? I know that there was a trip to Portugal recently and Japan, but what about the other 4 cities?
Unfortunately, that's a question I couldn't answer.
There has to be somebody on the other side that works with our group here. The one from Mexico used to be really involved. They used to send.
Is your mic on?
They used to send an entourage here, and it was a lot of fun. But when that mayor was no longer mayor there, it changed, and they haven't sent anybody since. But there's challenges. When the mayor from Mexico came here, he had to have a whole security detail because of the way things are over there. So,
no, that's great feedback. Thank you for that.
And the other ones have been here before, but they're just not really active like the 2 are.
I'll
please.
speak if you're done. I just want to speak to this, and then I'll continue on. It totally depends on the other city, too. Right. Takamachi has been very engaged, and particularly because of the Garlic Festival, and then the festival that they have, too. And it's been very engaging with the high school kids. I believe it's high school, maybe it's junior high, too. But they travel back and forth, and they're a part of it. Angra is because of Al, right? Al Pinheiro. That came on as a sister city. He nurtures that relationship. I've gone twice. It's a beautiful place, and it's always during their festival. So there's a reason why you're going there. We have a queen. We bring a queen, and so it is a beautiful thing. But the other 4 just either aren't as engaged now or have been at one time. And it just depends on who is there and who is here that's nurturing that relationship. Because everybody gets invitations to do stuff, but, what to do with them. Like in October, some people are coming, I guess they're going to Takamachi. They're not coming here. Right. No, some are coming here. They are coming here, too. It's both.
No, and thank you both for that, because, again, I think there's some, miscommunication or, a disconnect somewhere, because you're right. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming anyone. I think you're right. I think the other remaining cities have to do a better job.
Well, and that's what our Gilroy Sister Cities Association does for Gilroy, right? They are the ones to whom you would reach out. Like if you're hearing from someone from Tecate, you said Mexico, and who wants to re-engage, well, then you would take that to our Sister Cities Association, and they would either tell you, okay, we've tried, we've reached out, but it's not going anywhere, or whatever they would tell you. So it takes an organization to do the work. That's why they're here saying, how is the city helping us with financial support? And even though things may need to change going forward, there's still things that we're trying to correct, maybe looking back, and then be able to go forward. Okay, yes.
Also, one of the big things we've done with Tecate is we've sent fire trucks down there, respirators, all the stuff that we finish with our fire department, we send it to them.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, Councilmember Armendariz.
Thank you. I really do like the idea of us having an agreement. I think legally we should have an agreement for all the stuff that we do with non-city organizations. But I would love to see, like to Fred's point, I was also contacted by another city in Mexico who would like to be a sister city with us. Because of the population of folks from that community in Gilroy, they found a lot of back and forth, right, between the folks from their community and Gilroy, and also a festival that we share in common. So if we could, I would like the agreement to say something about the association would make reasonable effort to reach out to cities who would like to be part of the Sister Cities program.
So I think that is in there. If you look at 4B in the agreement.
4D?
4B. B like boy.
Yeah.
Where it says that A is that the Sister Cities Association will manage relations with the City of Gilroy's established sister cities.
Yeah.
And B is that they will evaluate and assist the City of Gilroy with research and due diligence on requests from the City of Gilroy on establishing potential new additional sister cities. So that would have to go through them because everything is work. It's all going to be about how they view the necessary manpower, the cost, and all that. But that is in there.
Okay. Thank you. I missed that. But I think for $15,000 a year, I think it's a good deal. Yeah, I don't think that. I think that's a lot of work, and they do a great job with the events that I've seen lately, or in the past couple of years. And so, yeah, I think this is all we needed was to codify it with an agreement.
Okay, so we have 3 public comments waiting. Does anyone else have any comments or questions before? Okay, so let me open public comment. And we have Sam Bozo, Dave Peoples, and Vito Mercado. If you could all 3 come to the front because you're going to be speaking one after the other. And Beth, make sure that the timer, okay.
Sam just gave me his 3 minutes.
No, sorry. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Dave Peoples. I'm a lifelong resident of Gilroy, currently president of Gilroy Sister Cities Association. As you review and discuss the proposed contract for service between GSCA and the City of Gilroy, please keep these few things in mind. Members of GSCA have been officially partnering with the city and interacting with the community to perform all of the services outlined in the proposed contract since 2005. And for many of us, unofficially since our first sister cities were proclaimed in 1985. Yes, long before there was GSCA, there was the Ad Hoc Special Visitors Committee, and I'm proud to say I was on that committee. We take our purpose to foster, encourage, and promote the exchange of culture between cities of foreign nations, similar to the City of Gilroy, very seriously by meeting, greeting, assisting, and hosting visitors from our 6 sister cities. GSCA was established solely to manage the Sister City program for the City of Gilroy. We have managed the hosting of several hundred students and adults from our sister city, Takomachi, Japan, over their 35-year relationship with Gilroy. We've managed the hosting of a 30-member band from our sister city, St. Clair, France. We have assisted Takomachi recruiting and selecting an employee from Gilroy as their CIR, or Coordinator of International Relations. And that's on a yearly basis unless the current is renewed. Right now, Miranda Janish, I'm sure all of you recognize Janish's name, is there now and will be bringing 7 junior high students and 4 adults with her to Gilroy this coming October. We have selected and sent a young lady from Gilroy to represent GSCA for the last few years at our sister city, Angra do Heroísmo, in the Azores annual 10-day festivities. We have managed homestay opportunities in so many Gilroy homes that have resulted in memorable and ongoing friendships and relationships. And I could go on and on and on of different things that we have accomplished here. So all of our sister cities have been here at one time. I don't remember the exact year, but we did have representation from each one of our sister cities at the same time, at a meeting, at the Portuguese Lodge, and a dinner there, and they all attended the Garlic Festival. So it was all sister cities.
You're out of time.
As I'm sure you're aware, to
Dave.
manage the program and do it right, it takes money.
I'm sorry.
GSCA is prepared to do all we can do to
Dave,
fundraise.
Your time is up. Okay.
Well,
maybe Sam or Vito can just continue.
I'll give him the rest of mine.
We can't do that. We can't do that, guys. I'm sorry. It's just
okay.
it's
I'll
not.
just
it's
give you
not.
the rest
Yeah,
of
I would
mine.
love
Just
to
read
do
it
that,
here,
but I
Vito.
can't. Okay.
Right here.
This is something that applies to everybody on every agenda item.
Okay, I'm going to continue reading Dave's statement. As I'm sure you're aware, to manage this program and do it right, it takes money. GSCA is prepared to do all we can to fundraise, but in today's economy, that isn't enough, and we need your help to manage your program. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about GSCA and our efforts to make Gilroy a great place to call home.
All right. Thank you. Sam Bozo. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank
I
you.
thought you were,
Okay, here.
Never mind. I thought he was
We
done.
have 6,000 in 2007, 2008, 6,000, 2009, 6,000. What am I saying here, Dave?
2011, $6,000. Those are the amounts that were paid to sister cities. Not 5,000, 6,000.
Mm-hmm. 2016.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry.
Okay.
If this is
Okay.
Vito speaking, then it needs
All
to be
right.
Vito speaking.
So here, real quick, my name is Vito Mercado. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all. I'm a lifelong Gilroyan and very passionate about volunteering and serving in my community. And I think Gilroy Sister Cities is not only good for the city of Gilroy, but it's great for the community. And but the Sister City organization cannot do it all alone. It needs the support of this council, this administration, to be able to not only sustain this this organization in the future and to increase the number of sister cities, like Councilwoman Armendariz was just mentioning, a possibility of another city. So we need your help. We need the city to support the work that we do, and we need to be engaged. You know, there needs to be back and forth going between the city management, the city council, and this committee. We're doing it for the community. We're doing it for the betterment of Gilroy. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, Sam Bozo.
Sam Bozo. First of all, I wanted to say that thank you to the council members who spoke on behalf of Sister Cities, because Sister Cities has done an outstanding job, and they deserve the support of the city council because they serve on your behalf in many, many cases. So, Mike, I came tonight. I just found out about this meeting this afternoon. I came tonight to give out a shout out to this group of people who have really expended themselves for a long period of time, and they need your support. So please give them every consideration that you possibly can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I see no others on the board. Are there any other public speakers? Okay, closing public comment. This comes back to council. I have another question. I don't know if anybody else does who's on the board, but in the agreement under compensation, where they're asking for an amount not to exceed $15,000 annually on a reimbursement basis, where in this agreement are we letting them, are we identifying what's reimbursable? How, I mean, if it's reimbursable, how do they know that it's reimbursable before they spend it? Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd like to make sure that we address that.
That comes in the form of their approved budget, which they would submit, which would list those costs that we would expect to see and they would expect to be reimbursed for.
Okay, so that comes in item...
It's in item 3.
No, it's not an item. Oh, the association shall provide its adopted budget for the city review and determination of which costs are reimbursable. Okay, so they provide that budget ahead of time, and that way they know before they spend.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was really wanting to make sure is in there. Okay. For council members who are on the board, is that because you left it there or because you still have a question?
I still have a question.
Okay, Councilmember Tovar.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
And again, I want to thank the association for the work that you do. I am in support of this. I was actually hoping you guys would ask for more money because I know the work that you do. But, again, but the one thing I would ask, again, and I understand, it takes two sides to kind of build those relationships. But if this does move forward, I would ask that you be proactive in really reaching out to the other cities because I think, we can build stronger relationships with them. And I think in the report it says that they would come back annually. I don't know if it's possible for the association to come back every 6 months just to give us updates because I think the more information that we get, the sooner we get, us as council members can help reach out to whatever cities that you need assistance with, unless that, obviously we, if you reach out to us and let us know, because I think Councilmember Armendariz mentioned that she had a city and I have a city. So I'm just trying to say how we build those relationships, right? And, when this comes back again, hopefully we can ask for some more money. So that's it.
Okay. I don't know that it would be coming back. What do you mean back again? All I would say to that is annually is what we have in all of our agreements. I wouldn't want to impose a stricter requirement here. So that's why I think...
Especially since most of the work is voluntary.
I think,
anyway.
they're all volunteers. I think annually is enough. And the most important thing for them is going to be the budget so that they know what expenses will be covered and which ones they have to fundraise for. They do fundraising, and so they cover a lot of their own expenses. Yeah.
I'd like the motion to approve, Mayor.
Okay. Do you have any more?
Well, I just had a question about the additional, as far as what they're looking for in terms of the additional cost, the 3 years at the $6,000 and then the 2 years of $3,000 based on 2021, where it was reduced down. How we deal with that, or I'm asking, can we deal with that? Or is that, and then the other question is having a study session too. Are we?
It's not in this agreement. I think it would have to be a separate proposal.
It'd be separate, yes.
A study session may not be required or requested if we're passing this. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I also think
You're talking about past expenses that they incurred? You're talking about the past expenses that they incurred?
Previous of 24, the past expenses that they weren't reimbursed for.
Can we just include that in the motion?
Is that what you're asking?
The reimbursement of it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
So then, are you going to make a comment, Andy?
Well, I was going to say that I think the agenda item does not fairly disclose that that's a topic of consideration tonight. It really deals with, the agenda item is described and then the staff report goes forward. So I think it would have to be brought back separately.
Okay.
If there was going to be an amendment to the motion, I'd prefer that we have documentation of that,
So could we, as Councilmember Klein is asking, could we still request to agendize to have a study session or something that we could include during the budget cycle? Is that appropriate?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be appropriate.
Okay. How, Councilmember Klein?
Motions all the time. For some reason, this doesn't make any sense.
It's just that the incurred expenses were just mentioned in passing during their comments. If I'm going to accept it as an amendment to the motion, I'd like to see documentation.
Oh, no, I'm not questioning yours. I'm questioning our attorney. Why all of a sudden it's not okay?
I'm basing this on my understanding of the Brown Act. In cases, there's a case, for example, where, strangely enough, the warrant list for individual checks comes in front of that city council, and they added a check, and the court held that was a violation of the Brown Act. And this would be somewhat similar. It's obviously not a big problem, but I don't think it's I think it would not be allowable under the Brown Act, though, and under the authority of that case, which seems kind of silly to me, actually, but is the law.
So then, is there anything we can do tonight to address their current need for funding? The fact that they haven't gotten any before. Can we ask that invoices be submitted and that they be reimbursed for things just like insurance or their tax return preparation? Or is that what you're saying we can't do under this agenda item?
I think you could direct staff to seek invoices and prepare a proposal to the council to bring back to do that.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so let's leave this motion as it is, which is we have a motion and a second. Who made the motion?
Rebecca.
I did.
Councilmember Armendariz, and it was seconded by Councilmember Tovar to approve this agreement, right, going forward.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Jimmy.
Mayor, I'd like to make a suggestion that in order to expedite this process, that you give me the authority to look at the things that we'd be looking in their normal budget to reimburse them for previous expenses.
Because it doesn't sound like a lot of money.
Yeah, so if
I like that.
it's insurance, it's going to be the obvious things that are outlined in the agreement. So if they can provide those invoices, that's within my authority. I would not need to bring that
Okay,
back.
up to the 6,000 that it was,
Yes,
because the
up to the
15,000 is
6,000.
what's going forward. Okay, and it was 6. It wasn't 5. We know that, right?
Make it 6.
Okay, we'll just say it's 6. Okay. Yeah, Tom and I, Councilmember Klein and I have been working at this for quite some time, but we are the representatives to sister cities. So that's why the Sister Cities Association does have council representatives on it that we appoint every year. And so we've been trying to figure this out.
And I would just say that this committee has worked hard at providing these
yes.
these events, and so
right.
Really,
right.
And
No,
I know we talked about that. I think it's
we absolutely
of
want
council.
to
Call the question so we can vote.
Yep.
Absolutely want to encourage these things. Okay, so we have a motion by Councilmember Armendariz, seconded by Councilmember Tovar to approve.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Armendariz?
Yes.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Tovar?
Yes.
Mayor Blankley?
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. Okay, that brings us to item 12, future council-initiated items. We have none. City Administrator reports.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have one short report. Tomorrow night is National Night Out, beginning at 4:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. If you're not aware of what National Night is, it is a annual event that cultivates and promotes police community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie. And it's a nationwide event held in many communities. So from that time, you'll see canines, you'll see a lot of the equipment, a lot of the programs, and a lot of the things that the police department are doing to build better community relationships. It will be out here on the lawn just south of the library. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay. City Attorney's reports.
I have no report, but I'm prepared to read the closed session item if it would be helpful.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, let's do it.
We have two closed sessions, item 15. First is conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 and Gilroy Code Section 17A8A2. Property is city-owned 536 acres at Hecker Pass, including Gilroy Gardens at 3050 Hecker Pass Highway. The APNs are given on the agenda. Negotiators Jimmy Forbes and Victoria Valencia. Other party to negotiations is Chris Sutton of Select Contracts, and under negotiations are price and terms of payment for sale or lease. Second item is similarly a real property negotiation under the same same code sections, 54956.8 and 17A8. Same property, Gilroy Gardens Theme Park. The APNs again are given on the agenda. Negotiator is Jimmy Forbes and Victoria Valencia. The other party is Gilroy Gardens Family Theme Park. Under negotiations, price and terms of payment for sale or lease. So we should now take public comment, and then we go into closed session. The first item in closed session is to vote whether or not to stay in closed session, and that's a reportable action.
Okay.
No
public speakers. All right. Closing public comment. So we will take a break, right? Let's all return at 8:30. Is that okay? All right. And we will resume. Thank you, everybody.